Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Empire Builders, the Rise and Fall of Civilizations. You know, I was thinking the other day, walking through the New York Public Library on Fifth Avenue, about how a city's true power isn't just in its skyline or its stock exchange. It's in its quietest rooms, the ones filled with books. For me, a kid from Dhaka who found worlds in the musty pages of my local library, those rooms were escape pods and rocket ships. And there was one city, over 2,000 years ago, that understood this principle on a scale that still takes my breath away. A city that built two monumental structures, one to guide ships with fire and the other to guide minds with ideas. This is the story of the intellectual engine of the ancient world. This is episode 022, The Lighthouse and the Library, the intellectual engine of Ptolemaic Alexandria. Picture this, it's the 3rd century BC. Alexander the Great is gone, but one of his generals, Ptolemy, has carved out a kingdom in Egypt. He doesn't set up his capital in some ancient, inward-looking Egyptian city. He builds anew, on a strip of land between the Mediterranean and a vast lake. Alexandria, it's a deliberate statement. A Greek city on Egyptian soil, a melting pot, a brand new hub for a brand new age. And the Ptolemies, this dynasty of Greek pharaohs, had a vision that went far beyond military might. They wanted to make Alexandria the brain of the world. And to do that, they built two incredible instruments. The first, the Lighthouse of Pharos, was a marvel of engineering. Imagine a tower, maybe 400 feet tall, like a 40-story building, crowned with a mirror and a perpetual fire, visible from 30 miles out to sea. It was a practical tool, saving ships and guiding trade. But it was also a symbol, a beacon. It said, "Here, this is the place. Come here." And they did. Merchants, scholars, thinkers from across the known world sailed toward that light. But once they arrived, the Ptolemies had a second, even more revolutionary structure waiting. The Great Library. If the lighthouse was the city's outstretched hand, the library was its beating heart. This wasn't just a storage room for scrolls. This was the world's first attempt to gather all human knowledge in one spot. The ambition is staggering. The head librarians, guys like Xenodotus and the poet Callimachus, had a mandate: get every book in the world. They'd search every ship that docked in Alexandria. If a scroll was found, it was confiscated, copied by an army of scribes, and the copy was given back to the owner. The original stayed in the library. They sent agents abroad with vast sums of money to buy entire collections. The goal was universal knowledge. Not just Greek plays, but Egyptian medical texts, Babylonian astronomical observations, Persian histories, Jewish law. Everything. At its peak, they may have held 500,000 scrolls. That's a scale of intellectual ambition that the world simply hadn't seen before. And they didn't just collect knowledge. They dissected it, organized it, and built upon it. This is where the library truly became an engine. Attached to it was the Mouseion, the Temple of the Muses, essentially the world's first state-funded research institute. Scholars lived there, dined together, and were paid to think. And what they thought up changed everything. Euclid literally wrote the book on geometry here, his Elements becoming the foundational textbook for over 2,000 years. The astronomer Aristarchus of Samos, working in those halls, proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system, placing the sun at the center 17 centuries before Copernicus. They didn't have the tools to prove it, but the idea was born there. Eratosthenes, the chief librarian, not only coined the word geography, but calculated the Earth's circumference with astonishing accuracy using little more than sticks, shadows, and brilliant reasoning. And in medicine, Herophilus pioneered human dissection, distinguishing nerves from blood vessels and laying the groundwork for real anatomy. Think about that environment for a second. A Greek poet could be arguing with an Egyptian priest about the nature of the soul, while in the next room, a mathematician from Syracuse and an astronomer from Babylon are comparing notes on planetary motion. This cross-pollination of Greek, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, and other knowledge systems was the secret sauce. The lighthouse brought the physical world to their doorstep. The library created a space where those different worlds of thought could collide and fuse. It was a deliberate, state-sponsored project to understand everything. And for a while, it worked. Alexandria became the indispensable city. To be educated, To be on the cutting edge of science, philosophy, or literature, you had to be connected to Alexandria. But here's the reflection that always gets me, as an engineer and a storyteller. This incredible engine of progress was fragile. It was built by the will of kings, funded by the treasury of a kingdom. Its existence was political, and as the Ptolemaic dynasty slowly decayed, becoming embroiled in palace intrigues and Roman power politics, the support for this pure intellectual pursuit wavered. The fire of the lighthouse needed constant fuel. So did the library. The famous stories of its burning, whether by Julius Caesar's accidental fire or later by Christian or Muslim forces, are symbolic of a deeper truth. Institutions of knowledge, no matter how grand, survive only as long as the society around them values the light they produce. The actual destruction was likely a slow decay, a death by 1,000 cuts, budget cuts, declining interest, the shifting priorities of new rulers. The great scattering began. The scholars left, the scrolls crumbled or were dispersed. The beacon, both literal and intellectual, eventually went dark. Walking out of that library in New York, I thought about the legacy of Alexandria. We remember the lighthouse as one of the 7 wonders, a trophy of engineering. But the library's wonder is harder to monumentize. It was a process, not just a building. It was the act of collecting, questioning, and connecting. In many ways, our modern world, with its universities, its research grants, its digital databases striving to hold all information, is still trying to rebuild that Alexandrian ideal. We're still sailing toward that beacon, hoping to find a room where all the world's knowledge waits, not to be merely stored, but to be used to light the next fire of understanding. The takeaway for me is this: empires are built on trade routes and armies, but civilizations are built in libraries. The Ptolemies, for all their flaws, understood that the most enduring power is the power to explain the world. They built a lighthouse to guide ships into their harbor, but they built a library to guide humanity out of ignorance. And for a glorious few centuries, that city on the Mediterranean coast was the brightest spot on the map, not because of the fire on the tower, but because of the ideas shining from its shelves. Thank you for listening. If this journey into the heart of ancient Alexandria resonated with you, please do share this episode with someone who loves history, ideas, or just a great story. For more deep dives into the civilizations that shaped our world, make sure you're subscribed to Empire Builders wherever you get your podcasts. This is Ibnul J. Farabi from Lighthouse Studios. Until next time, keep building.